Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be answering the question, how did toilets work in medieval British castles? So grab your latrine, a bucket, a wooden spoon, and a roll of hempen cloth, and let's get into it. Point no. 1. Toilets in medieval castles were not connected to any sort of pipe system like modern toilets. Instead, the waste would simply fall through a hole into a pit or a bucket below. This is pretty similar to how the toilets in airplanes work, only with slightly less turbulence. The toilets in castles were also not very private affairs. They were usually shared by several people and were located in the latrine tower or the privy. The privy was usually a small outbuilding near the castle wall that had a few toilets in it. The toilets themselves were just holes in the floor with wooden seats above them. The holes would then lead down into a bucket or a pit that would be filled with the castle. Well, you know, the royal waste. Point 2. In some cases, the toilets would simply be a hole dug into the ground with a flat stone or a wooden board as a seat. These would usually be found in the open areas of the castle grounds rather than in the privy. This type of toilet was more of a, how do you say, rustic design. It was definitely not very hygienic. The waste would often be left sitting around and would attract all sorts of unpleasant things, like flies and vermin. It was also not uncommon for people to simply throw their chamber pots out of their window. The latrine, as we mentioned before, was usually located near the castle wall, so it wasn't too far for the waste to fall. However, this practice did have its dangers. People walking below the latrine had to be wary of falling objects, and it wasn't uncommon for someone to get injured or even killed by a wayward pot. And finally, point no. 3. Chamber pots were often made of wood or metal, but they could also be made of something a bit more, well, unusual. During the medieval period, it was not uncommon for people to use animal skins as chamber pots. The skins would be sewn up and then used as a portable toilet. They were used by both men and women, and they were especially popular with the nobility because they could be made of expensive materials like velvet or silk. This made them much more sanitary than the wooden or metal chamber pots, which had to be cleaned by hand. Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe for more videos like this. And as always, stay classy, my friends.